Content warnings for blood, gore, bright flashes, and loud noises. Please enjoy. Welcome to my guide for beginners on how to deal with the Chained Ogre in Sekiro. This mini-boss is considered a wall for many new players. He's quite a bit different from everything you've faced up to this point, although you haven't fought too many things. The Chained Ogre loves to do lots of grabs, and the grab tutorial doesn't prepare you for this very well. It lies a bit, you can deflect some grabs, but most grabs can be iframed or dodged. The dodge forward has more iframes. As well, there are various other ways to avoid or mitigate his grabs. You can also stun him using certain techniques. There are methods you can use to counter the damage and the danger and death, of course, of the grabs. The Chained Ogre is quite rough for new players, as he's quite an unstoppable force, and the fog wall behind him is an immovable object. Now, one thing to keep in mind is your grapple. If you happen to fall off during the fight, you can grapple back up. You can grapple to him after a grab. If you're too close, the grab will often not appear, but you can grab to him after he does a grapple. It'll stagger him for a moment and you can get a hit in. Now, if he grabs you and you don't die from the hit, he'll throw you backwards overhead. You can then grapple to him. This is dangerous if he throws you over the ledge, because after the grab, if you live through it, the fall will kill you, but you can still grab after, so you can grab back up to him. Additionally, a lot of bosses, if you grab to them when they're in deathblow mode, or ready to be deathblowed, you get a little different animation for a grapple deathblow. Another part of the fight is this spear guy up here. Now, the most simple way to deal with him is to just hug the wall really tightly and run at him. If you do a running slash, you'll hit him and stop and interrupt him, and you can just stun lock and kill him. It's pretty easy, frankly. The other option would be to use the Mikiri counter. Now, the Mikiri counter is a skill you have to unlock in the Shinobi tree. It requires 2 skill points. The way you Mikiri counter is you dodge into a thrust attack, which is what those spear perilous attacks are. All you have to do is wait for him to do it and dodge in. You can kind of spam it. I have a guide on how to deal with Mikiri counter too. I also have a guide on dealing with grapples that also covers the Chained Ogre in regards to grapples. The Mikiri counter will pretty much always instantly break him and ready him for death blow. This is done with no stat upgrades. Now, if you do get hurt in the fight, which probably you will if you're a beginner, you can get up somewhere high, especially somewhere to grapple to that he can't walk to, and you can just get up there and heal. You can sit there and watch. He'll watch you. He won't go away and regain his health. He'll just sit there unable to do anything. Now, a little bit of an additional thing. In the area before General Colorado, you can find some Ungo sugar. There's also a few pellets there and an Akko's sugar. Ungo is something I generally do not use, but Ungo will actually give you defensive properties that help you survive some attacks. Additionally, here I'm using a pellet to show you can heal through part of the grab. By doing that, you'll come out of it with a bit more health, and then if you gored, you'll be at roughly full health again. With Ungo, you'll take much less damage against Chained Ogre, because it's such an early on mini-boss. You're also able to combine these tactics. So what you can do is you can Ungo's sugar and pellet. Now, this is in case you've been really struggling with getting around the grabs. You don't want to just sit there and take it like I'm doing. You might want to keep the buff up when you're worried you're going to get grabbed. But as you can see here, I was able to survive 2 grabs like this. With Ungo plus a pellet, you can survive 2 grabs in a row. In addition to showing you how to use various tools and items to get an advantage, I'm also going to show how to do it without using any of those things. This is done without any upgrades. What you're able to do is just sprint around. Sekiro is a bit different than Dark Souls and Bloodborne in that running around during a fight can actually be pretty nice. It's a very defensive style, but you can often just run away from attacks. You don't have stamina to manage. Your posture is not going to go up from running, so you can just get in 1 or 2 hits. After each hit Chained Ogre does, you will typically have 2 safe hits to do. Right there, I actually got staggered from the grab, but didn't get hit. Now, another tactic you can use is you can jump away. When you jump backwards from Chained Ogre, you'll often get out of the way of his attacks. Right there, I did do a parry or deflect in Sekiro, but jumping away is pretty effective. You want to be careful though because of the arena. You see, there is a staircase and there are different levels of elevation. What you want to do is jump downwards when you jump back. You don't want to go up, you'll hit the ground quicker. You want to be jumping downwards. If you jump upwards, you're more likely to get hit. When you're jumping towards elevation that's going upwards, you're going to hit the ground sooner. You're going to get hit a little bit quicker as well. The enemy is going to have a bit less time in the air before their hit lands, because the spot they're hitting is actually closer to them, closer to their upper body. It's a bit of an odd thing to consider, but you do always want to watch out for elevation in Sekiro. Elevation can be pretty important and can cause a lot of problems for you if you're fighting around an area with a lot of bumpy terrain. But jumping back for the most part is fairly safe. I would say it's more efficient and more effective than running away all the time. The running away, you have to get a bit close and you have to then get away. You have to recognize the exact timing. You have to hold down a button. You can't just tap it. As you can see there, jumping backwards didn't work as well when going up the stairs. Now, an additional thing about Chained Ogre that is very important, if you hold block, you can just block his attacks. A lot of people are afraid of getting posture broken because of how hard hitting he is, but you can actually just hold block. When you hold block, you'll regain your posture faster. It's a pretty handy thing to know. Now, if you see him grab, you might want to jump away or run away or dodge. As well, that little leg raise he just did is actually fairly dangerous. He can not exactly dead angle, but he'll walk past you and then hit you in the back because you'll be blocking towards his body where his leg is behind. But you can just kind of sit there and hold block. Even if he posture breaks you, you can safety roll away. By doing this, you can just stay in his face. Every now and then you might even get a parry if you're not really sure how to do that yet. Parrying against Chained Ogre is effective. You don't want to use it against his grabs, of course, but you can parry his attacks and it will build up posture. Chained Ogre is a fight where you mainly want to do vitality damage, but you will build up posture if he's at like around maybe 75% to half health. At that point, you'll start to actually build up the posture damage on him from your deflects/parries. As such, it's not a worthless endeavor. It can actually help you throughout the fight. And if he's being very aggressive, he won't regain his posture because he's in the middle of attacks. An additional skill that's very useful for the Chained Ogre fight is the grapple hook attack. That is in the Prosthetics tree. When you have that attack, you do 2 hits in the air when grappling towards an enemy if you press attack. So you can do 2 hits in the air and then 1 on the ground safely. Anytime he grabs, and you can just bait out the grabs, you can get 3 free hits that way. Over the course of the fight, you'll do quite a bit of damage to him. It'll really add up. It's nice. Especially if you're using other tactics that also allow you to get a lot of hits in. And remember, don't be too close to him after a grapple ends, because you will not be able to grapple to him, because you'll be too close for the marker to appear. This also works if you're grappling back to him after he has thrown you, so you'll have a way to at least deal some damage after he grabs you. Now, this is kind of the piece de resistance of the tactics. This is the circle strafe against Chained Ogre. Incredibly powerful. You can get 1 to 2 hits in. 1 is the safest. 2 is a bit better because it'll make him attack. Now, the tricky part about the strafe. You want to be a little bit careful. You want to strafe before he starts attacking. You want to get him to be turning towards you and about to attack and strafe. If he's doing his overhead slam, hold block. You can parry it, but you can just hold block. It'll be fine. Otherwise, you'll just be able to sit there and strafe around him hitting him. He'll really struggle. Just try to stay to his back. If he's spinning constantly and not attacking, you need to stop for a moment to let him to get to a point where he'll be facing you and he'll do an attack. Otherwise, nearly anything he does will just miss you. And the overhead slam, which is the most dangerous one, you can just hold block or even parry if you'd like. Many of his attacks you can also just back away from. You have quite a bit of mobility in Sekiro. It's very nice. If he is having trouble facing you, what you can do is step back just a little bit. This will make your strafe around him take a little bit more time. So he'll face you, and then you can move a little bit forward while strafing. By doing this technique, you really only have to use 3 inputs. You have to use a direction on the stick, holding block, and attack. That's about it, and you'll defeat him really easily. You can do this no damage. Not no hit, because technically blocking is a hit, as odd as that might sound, but you can just strafe around him. Hold block for the overhead, and hit him twice. You can actually hit him 3 times after the elbow drop, but for most attacks you want to just hit him twice or once. It's really efficient. This is the thing I really wanted to show. It's an incredibly easy way to kill this boss. Additionally, you do get a backstab deathblow animation if you manage to fight and kill a mini-boss from behind. It is a different animation. It's the one you would get if you had snuck up on them. And you can actually sneak up on the Chained Ogre. And I'll show you how to do that a bit later in this guide. I wanted to just show here that you can truly do the entire fight like this. It's so simple. I feel like almost anyone can do it. I won't say anyone, because I imagine there will still be people that struggle. There might be people with various problems related to technical issues, related to their ability. There might be accessibility problems with this. Important to note, you can always pause in Sekiro. It's quite nice. It's not a multiplayer game, so you can actually pause this FromSoft game. Feel free to use that whenever you need to. You can just pause, think about what you want to do, pause if you need to go do something, pause if you just need to calm down. A lot of these games focus on your mental state. Your mental state can really impact your play, so the ability to pause and just cool down can be pretty helpful. Right there, that is that leg lift. That is one of his more dangerous attacks to block because he can end up behind you with the foot and in front of you with the body, so you'll block the wrong direction. I apologize if it was a little bit boring to watch that whole exchange, but I just wanted to be clear, this is really consistent. You can just keep doing this. Now there are a few tools you'll be likely to have when you face Chained Ogre. One of them is the Shuriken. This is one of the earliest tools you can get. It doesn't do much damage against him. It will cause increased posture damage if he's doing his dropkick, but it's really not worth it and pretty negligible. However, if you're very low on health and are scared of getting killed, and he's very low on health, you can just Shuriken him down to finish him. Additionally, Chained Ogre can get stunned or staggered when he's hit a bunch in a row. You can get 4 hits in safely when he is staggered like this and scared. Now, Firecracker is another early tool. It's not very good. You can end his grabs early if you like doing this. You can get 4 hits in safely, just like the regular Fear Stagger or Sword Stagger. Now, Chained Ogre, if you listen to the guards in front of him, the Ashigaru, they'll mention he's afraid of fire. Fire will cause him to get scared, and he'll get stunned for a bit. It'll take 2 flame vent uses to cause him to burn. Burn buildup goes away with time. Keep that in mind. And additionally, he'll burn the first time if you use oil. Burning will do damage over time as well. Now, the fear from the first fire stun allows 6 safe hits. You can then, after the 6th, use flame vent right away to burn him. You'll be allowed to get 8 safe hits then, during the burn stun. This is the most efficient way to use the flame vent. You can stun him out of many of his attacks doing this, but you've got to be careful. He will not get feared out of the elbow drop, but can get burned out of it, for instance. The same for the dropkick. So you want to be a bit wary. As you can see, I got hit right through that. He didn't get stunned, but if it had burned him that time, so if it was the second hit or with oil, it would have done the trick. Right now, I'm showing you the way to get Gachin's sugar early on. This is the path from the cliffs above near General Kawarada. This is now the way from the staircase, or stairway. This is where the Chained Ogre is and the idol there, so this is how you get to the Gachin from there. Gachin is the stealth sugar. This will allow us to stealth death blow the Chained Ogre to start the fight. Now you're going to get to see how things get really, really mean against Chained Ogre. I'm going to show you a very efficient kill. I've already killed the 2 Ashigaru out front. I've used the stealth trigger to come up to the side here. You can then get a stealth death blow. This will skip one of his health bars. You don't have to worry about the spearman. I'm going to light him on fire to scare him, and then I'm going to burn him. During the burn, he's going to take quite a lot of damage. Because I already took out the first health bar, I'm not really concerned about my use of emblems. Now, I'm doing dodge iframes just to show you a very quick way to kill him. You could just jump back or run away. You can dodge them yourself. But by very efficiently using that, I just basically stun-locked Chain Ogre to death. He got, what, 2 attacks in and then was dead. It's an incredibly efficient way to kill him. Now, you can iframe his attacks. For quite a lot of them, you want to dodge to the side. For the elbow drop and overhead slam, in many of the grabs, you want to dodge straight forward into him. Now, this grab is a bit different. That diving tackle grab, if you dodge forward, you will get grabbed. What you want to do is dodge diagonally away from him. So kind of like, you basically want to dodge diagonally behind him during that tackle grab. If you do that, you'll be pretty safe. You can also just sit there and dodge straight into his crotch. That will protect you from quite a few of his attacks and allow you to keep up the aggression. This is how I typically fight the Chained Ogre. This is how I do him sword only, no hit, no damage, new game +7, with hard modes active. Sword only meaning no items, no tools, no prosthetics. I hope this guide was able to help anyone who has been struggling with this fight, or even people who want to fight him in new and more efficient ways. This has hopefully been helpful for people, especially at the beginner level of skill in Sekiro. I'm Tolvo. I like to do challenge videos and guides and lore videos and history videos. I'm sorry I have to say it. If you like this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And have a nice day. Bye bye.